everything that you want out of your business, out of your practice, out of your life, frankly, will be found on the other side of greater accountability. So today's conversation is all about how do I create greater accountability. We're literally going to give you a pathway to get there, right?
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
And I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
And we are thrilled to be with you here today. I hope everyone is having an amazing fall season. We're in the fall here as we're recording. It's 2022. You may be listening to this another year. I recently talked to a doc who started back at the beginning of our podcast episodes. He said, I ran into your podcast and I was looking for some chiropractic type podcast and talk, and he said, I've been loving it, but he said, I decided to go back and start at episode 1. So we know episode 1 was recorded over 3 years ago. This is year 4, Dr. Stephen. It's hard to believe, but I'll tell you something. We have set an expectation and we've made an agreement and we have held ourselves accountable to making sure that each and every week we meet you right here. So Tuesdays, that's our day. This is the day we've chosen that the episodes will air. We don't record them on Tuesdays, but we make sure that every Tuesday they hit your inbox or they hit your podcast platform that you prefer. And we have set an expectation each and every week to put out a conversation for a CEO to help you have a more remarkable practice and more remarkable life, turning that job into a business, being that CEO. We have held ourselves accountable to that by making sure that each and every time we meet, we stay focused on that. So, Dr. Stephen, I am thrilled because today's topic has a lot to do with that. And it's been awesome to be accountable to you and with you. And we have an awesome audience that we're accountable to. So we hope that this has been a blessing in your life, this podcast. And I hope that today's episode will continue to serve you very well. I know I'm fired up about it. It's coming off hot this week from some CEO conversations. Dr. Stephen, looking forward to digging in with you today.
Yeah, super stoked to lay this one down today because we're just coming rolling right out of what we call a mastermind week. Every other week we get to meet with our mastermind groups with all of our remarkable CEOs, our chiropractors that are in our Remarkable CEO program. We've had hundreds of doctors go through our programs. It's just so awesome. And this is the Friday of our mastermind week. So we're just going to continue the conversations we've been having all week around accountability. And really here was the theme of the week was everything that you want out of your business, out of your practice, out of your life, frankly, will be found on the other side of greater accountability. So today's conversation is all about how do I create greater accountability. We're literally going to give you a pathway to get there, right? We're going to give you the guidebook, if you will, on how to establish greater accountability, right? And really, accountability is what turns motion into movement, right? It's what turns busyness into productivity, right? So all of us want the same thing. We want to make a bigger income and make a bigger impact, right? So it all comes down to growth. Dr. Pete, this doesn't happen by accident, right? So at the end of the day, this has to become very intentional so that we can have a predictable and consistent growth trajectory week after week, month after month, quarter after quarter, and year after year.
If you want to remain in seat as the owner-operator, if you want to have history continue to repeat itself, and continue to have everything fall on you, if you want to continue to carry that load up that mountain for another year, another chapter, another season, then don't set up an arrangement where there is accountability. If you want to guarantee that you'll remain underneath the weight of your business, of your practice, even your life, then you would avoid creating accountability. That will guarantee that you will carry that. You will remain in that position of carrying the load, staying in control, keeping everything close to yourself. That's a surefire way to
stay
remain
stuck.
Stay stuck. And I'll be honest, Dr. Stephen, it's easy to slip back. Okay, it's easy to slip back, and so this is a slip and check podcast for you CEOs. If you're listening to this, we're coming up towards this is third, fourth quarter. We're coming towards the end of a year. Let's just say that. And, we really need to take some inventory and check ourselves. How have we done as leaders in equipping and empowering our people? I love the definition of empowerment, which means to transfer authority. When I empower someone, when I give someone empowerment, meaning your role exists to do these functions and drive these outcomes, and then I empower them in that role, I equip them with tools and training and resources. Now that person has a way to win, and my job is to support them in that. That is my job as a leader, right? It's to expose people's worth and value by exposing them through their zone of genius, putting them in a position of strength where they can demonstrate that in the workplace. And it's our role to put the people in that position and keep them there. But the key to all of this working in a business relationship or even in a doctor-patient relationship is accountability, Dr. Stephen.
Yeah.
But accountability is not the first step. There's some preceding steps. We're going to walk through that with you, and we're going to break it down. This is going to seem a bit maybe even elementary, because it is. It's fundamentals. It's the basics of building a remarkable business and having a remarkable life. It's fundamentals, guys, today, and I'm looking forward to digging deep.
So, Dr. Pete, the term accountability is used quite a bit now, and then you hear it everywhere in the the consulting space and in the coaching space and training. We love to hear it said back to us by our doctors, by our CEOs, by our the doctors that we get to coach. You hear things like, oh, we need greater accountability on my team, or I'm going to start holding my team more accountable, right? So even I need to be held more accountable, right? So I'm like, yep, you're right. You're exactly right. And if we know that, everything that you want out of your business will be found on the other side of greater accountability, and you recognize that, the next question has to be accountable to what? That's the key to this. It's like, accountable to what? See, ultimately it implies that there's something that you're holding somebody accountable to, right? So this is the secret sauce to doing this well, is to recognize the rules of the jungle. Like what we're going to talk about here today is like the rules and tools that are associated with creating greater accountability, right? So one of the rules is that it's a front end investment, right? So you have got to create expectations and agreements on the front end of every relationship in order for you to be able to hold people accountable to doing what needs to be done to get the results that you want, right? So expectations, you knew we were going here, right? We're going right back to setting up clear expectations and honest agreements, right? And it has to be done on the front end. So every relationship that you want to be successful, long-lasting, productive, and stress-free, then you're going to set up clear expectations and honest agreements on the front end. That's one of the rules of the jungle, right? So it also has to be written down, right? So we have to capture these things. We have to document these things. And this is where the tools come in. This is where the reporting systems come in. You have to create clarity for your people. You have to say, this is what's important now, right? So this is what's important now, and capture that in a document, right? So we use two tools that we love in the Remarkable Practice. One is the scorecard, where you have the activities that are measurable and they create KPIs that you set goals around, right? That's the scorecard. Those are their responsibilities. You get 5 KPIs, and this is what's important now. Based on the goals that we've set as an organization, you're in this role, so this is what's important now for you to focus on. Now, the second tool we use is our 90-day project planner, which is really the tool that we were focused on this week in our CEO masterminds, right? So that's where this conversation came out of, was the importance of capturing those expectations and agreements around, if somebody owns a project that needs to be done this quarter in order for us to reach our goals, we capture it on the 90-day project planner. So those two tools, the scorecard and the 90-day project planner, capture our expectations and agreements so that we can hold people accountable.
Yeah, Doc, it's so powerful. And again, I know I'm speaking to you as a CEO. So CEO, as you're listening to this, this is something that I know you're nodding your head, Doc, as you were talking, everybody's nodding their heads. They're like, yeah, this is me. I need to hear this. I needed to hear this right now. Of course you do. We always do, because this is the thing that at all times is paramount, right? This is the most important thing. You say, what's important now as a CEO? This is what's important now, is that number one, as you said, rule number one here, and some of us maybe have done a really good job with this. Maybe you haven't done a good job with this. This is going to be convicting, is that at the beginning of the relationship, the front of the relationship, you set up a clear expectation and there were honest agreements. Now you might say, clear expectations about what? Great question. And so this is where you go back to things like, what is the job? What is the role? What is the objectives of that position? When I hired you, we talk about the 4 rights, getting the right person in the right role. Part of clear expectations is start with getting the right person, which has to do with your vision and your core values. You have to be crystal clear on, this is what we are trying to accomplish. Here's where we are now. Here's where we've come from. We are interviewing you now to come on this team. We've already walked this road. Here we are. That's the next leg in the journey. And we're asking you to come on board. Do you want to go on that journey? And can you help us actually get to that next peak? Because it's going to be a little bit treacherous, and we need the skills and the talents and the heart of somebody who can help us get there, because with the people we have, we've gotten here, but we're not going to be able to get there. Do they have that? Is that clear, right? Because that last thing you know is somebody gets halfway up the mountain and they're like, I just don't know if I want to do this thing. It's too cold up here, and I want to go back to base camp. And it's like, all right, so we've got to have clear expectations around the vision. So that was one of the things, Dr. Stephen, with that second tool, which I would love if we could give that away. That'd be awesome. Just even an example of the project
absolutely.
planner. Yeah, we're going to do that then today. So you have to have clarity on, where are we going, Dr. Stephen? So CEO listening to this phone, message here right now on whatever podcast platform you listen to or YouTube, where are you going? Where is the destination? Is there an expectation of where we're going and your role to help us get there? That's an example of setting an expectation around a vision. The vision is, we're going here in 3 years. This is our goal, is to be here. Okay, that's our target. In 1 year, we want to be here. In the next 90 days, we want to get here. And when you talk to your team, whether it's a brand new person coming on or someone who's been with you, and you're having a meeting with them, let's say at a quarterly board meeting and a quarterly review, let's call it that. It's that moment again, as the CEO, vision casting and recasting and clarifying that. So number one, do you have a vision? Is your vision for your business 3 years from now, 1 year from now, 90 days from now? Is it crystal clear? Have you communicated that? And is it written down? And can everybody see it? And does everybody know what it is? And that is an expectation. That's an example of setting an expectation in regards to a subject matter that might seem vague, which is vision. It must be clear, must be written down. Dr. Stephen, that's one example of, even on the project planner, that I would know from a high level what the vision is. Then I cast the vision for the very specific domain-centric project that I give to a very specific player. The right player would then also have a vision that comes underneath the bigger vision, so they can see how this is important now because of where we're going next, and ultimately. Really, really important, Doc.
And this is where you just took it from 30,000 feet right down to the ground, right? So, and I want to dovetail what you just said with the concept around writing it down. Does a few things, right? It creates something you can hold people accountable to, but it also creates a focal point, right? It creates focus, right? So when we understand that focus is what makes the difference between busyness and productivity, right? So as CEOs, like you should be allergic to the term busy, right? So when you hear people say, I'm busy, we're so busy, right? So I feel busy, that should make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, because that's a red flag. That's somebody saying, I'm pumping the brakes. That's what you should hear when you hear people talk about busyness, and we were so busy, we're so busy, I'm so busy, right? So none of us want to be busier. We all want to be more productive, right? So if you hear busyness, know that they need focus. Focus is what takes busyness and turns it into productivity, right? So if you write it down, you're helping them understand, this is what I want you to focus on now. This is what's important now. Now, once they get that clarity is the greatest accelerator, right? So we know this to be true because wherever people lack clarity, things slow down. They get wonky, they get boggy, right? They create drag, right? So we want to be low drag, high speed. Well, that requires clarity. And when you capture it and you write it down for them, that establishes that clarity. Now they're punching the accelerator. Now the third part of this, Dr. Pete, which is this is the magic, right? The magic lives in the accountability. Okay. So now we've got reporting systems which give us that visibility, right? So we've written it down and we can all look at it, right? So now we have visibility of what's going on. Now we need meeting rhythms, right? And the meeting rhythms create the accountability, right? So now the accountability is critical to take motion and turn into movement. So the difference between motion and movement is accountability, right? So we're not just looking to be busy. We don't want to just be spinning our wheels. You know the term wheel spin. That's actually the name of a book. That's a great business term, wheel spin. It implies not only are you stuck, but you are spinning your wheels. Picture that tire turning in the mud, right? So wheel spin is worse than being stuck, because stuck, you're just sitting there static. Wheel spin, you're sitting there and you're smoking your resources, right? You're burning time, energy, focus, and money. That's called wheel spin. That's much more painful, right? So we don't want to just hit the accelerator and have wheel spin. What we want is those treads to dig into terra firma, right? So to get traction. That's where that business term traction and the Gino Wickman's great book Traction comes from. The whole concept of the accountability is what creates the traction, where that treads dig in and the machine lurches forward. And it's the accountability that turns that motion into movement.
So Dr. Stephen, I know that we could just go on and on this subject. We are so passionate about this. We are convicted about this too. And so obviously this is a podcast. This is a podcast episode. You know, my thought as I'm listening to this, and I listen to this podcast myself, is okay, what's the takeaway? Like, what do I walk away with from this, even this subject matter just today? And I'll tell you something right now. You said it at the beginning, which was everything that you want to get out of your business and your life is on the other side of accountability. So here's the question I want to leave you with. I want to leave you with this today, which is, where in your business or your life are you lacking accountability? And make a list. Like, where is there a lack of accountability? Go through your business and look at the 4 domains. Look at attraction. Do you have accountability around all 3 tributaries when it comes to the attraction? Your internal, external, and digital marketing. Is there accountability there? Is there accountability around your marketing plan? Is there accountability around your marketing calendar? Is there accountability around your marketing budget? Is there accountability there? Ask the question. Anywhere where there's a lack of accountability, there's going to be a lack of traction. What basically Dr. Stephen just said, there's going to be a lack of clarity. There's going to be a lack of gripping that terra firma, which means there's going to be a lack of movement. Okay, so we got a lot of motion. Oh yeah, Doc, we went and did that event. We made that post. We did the thing. Whatever.
We spent that time. We spent that money. We spent that energy. We spent that focus, right? But no productivity.
No productivity. And so I want you to, even if you just said, okay, I'm going to look at the 4 domains of my business. I'm going to look at attraction, conversion, retention, and my team. And I'm going to ask myself the question, is there anywhere where I'm lacking accountability? If you go through your conversion process, start with day 0. Everything pre and patient coming in. Is there anywhere where we're lacking accountability? Look at your day 1. Is there anywhere where we have lost a level of accountability? Which is, like you said, Dr. Stephen, it's everything is written down, and there's a collision point where there's a rhythm of meeting where we're discussing this, whether that's in your weekly team meetings, on your practice scoreboard, it's in your weekly team trainings as you train through the patient journey. Okay, day 2. Is there any lack of accountability there on your day 2? And you know how you can break day 2 down into multiple parts. Day 3, is there any lack of accountability there? That's a big day. We actually had a day all about expectations and agreements. So where are we not doing a great job on our day, for example? So go through the 4 domains, Dr. Stephen. This is my to-do for anybody who's listening who like to walk away from these podcasts with like, all right, I'm going to go do something. Just simply make a list of the 4 domains and write down, ask the question, is there any lack of accountability here? And then here's what you do. Wherever there's a lack of accountability, that thing, that topic, if it's important now, can become a project, right? That could become a focal point where we can say, we're going to focus our energy as a team. We're going to double down right here on this because we know the outcome on the other side of that is significant. And so it's worth the energy and effort and time and focus to go there and then assign that project to someone on your team, the right person on the team. Dr. Stephen, that's how I'm feeling about this, because I know we could go on for a long time on this subject.
So, you know, like we said, we're going to give away the 90-day project planner. We're happy to share that with you. It's a fantastic tool. We talked about rules and tools. The tools are going to help you get this organized, and it's going to help you follow the rules, right? So setting up expectations and agreements as we're getting into 4th quarter now and setting ourselves up for 2023. You've got to set your expectations and agreements for everybody on your team. Where are we going as a team collectively, and what are you doing on this team individually this quarter and next quarter. We're capturing those things on this document. We're happy to share that with you. In fact, if you need some help with filling this out and you want to figure this out, we have our calendar link right there. Just click the link. We're happy to jump on a call with you and help you work it out for your practice. Guys, remember, we got out of bed today. We started this podcast. We've been doing it for 4 years for one singular purpose, and that is what the world needs today is chiropractic. And what chiropractic needs right now is more successful chiropractors.
Please stick around for more business insights from this week's bonus interview with our remarkable success partner, dedicated to helping you more successfully help more people. Enjoy. All right, Remarkable CEO podcast people, I am thrilled to be in the studio today with my friend Adriana from Chiro Matchmakers. And I was trying to calculate how many emails I've sent to you over the years, introducing you to different doctors who are searching for that next great team member. And you guys are amazing at helping chiropractors do that. And I'm thrilled to have you on our podcast as a guest today. And I'm glad I get to interview you today, Adriana, because I know you've done just such an amazing work with helping doctors build remarkable teams. And I know your commitment. So you are a success partner of the Remarkable Practice, and that is why you're here with me today. So again, I just want to tell you, thank you for being a part of helping our doctors help more people and taking the time today to meet with me. First thing I want to do is just have a little meet and greet. So if you would tell our audience who you are and who you are as part of Chiro Matchmakers, maybe a little bit how you got to this point. I think it'd be awesome for people to get to know you a little bit.
Of course. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be a part of your podcast. At this point, I think we have exchanged hundreds and hundreds of emails. So it is amazing when we can help each other, help more people. My name is Adriana Loya. I am the director of placement for Chiro Matchmakers. I started as a front desk CA over 13 years ago. I completely fell in love with chiropractic and saw the benefits in myself and in my family. Then I became the office manager. And then at a point, I was running several chiropractic offices in New Mexico. And then, after a few years doing that, we opened up Chiro Matchmakers out of our own need to find the right person for the positions that we had available. And then mainly from our own pain points of losing associates, of, losing great relationships with people that we really loved and cared for, but they were just not the person for the position that we had. And so, through learning and a lot of pain, we opened up the company so that we could help more people.
I love it. And you guys are doing it. And I love that you're speaking from a place of scar tissue. You talked about the pain. And I love that your journey started, as you talked about, right at the front desk, and you ascended into the position of an office manager. Here you are managing multiple clinics and dealing with the pain points. So I love that you can relate so much with the docs who are listening to this right now. And again, I greatly appreciate the work that you do. In the Remarkable Practice, Remarkable CEO, we teach the concept of the 4 rights. You got to get the right person in the right role, doing the right work the right way. And CMM helps doctors do that. Can you share with us a little bit about, we talk about how every business exists to solve a problem for another person. And the other person for us is a chiropractor, right? Or a doctor who's an owner looking to build their team, or a doctor who's looking to join a team. Can you talk a little bit about the specific problems that you would say we solve at CMM, Chiro Matchmakers? How would you respond to that?
Yeah, so most businesses' problems are people problems, right? Yeah. If you don't have the right team in place, you cannot achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So our business is dedicated to helping chiropractors, either business owners that are looking to expand, grow their team, hire the right person so that they can put them in the right seat in the bus so that they can do amazing things for the company. And we also help doctors that are looking to join an established, thriving team. Maybe doctors that, they're passionate about being doctors, they want to take care of patients, but they don't really want to run a business. Or maybe they don't have the experience to run a business. So what we do is we match businesses with talent, whether it's an associate, it's a CA, an office manager, a marketing person, and we match them in a way that ensures that their relationship is going to be successful because the person is going to be naturally hardwired for the type of the job that they're going to take on that practice. And so it's amazing to see how we are actually helping those businesses solve their people problems.
It's interesting. I love the language that you use, matchmaking and connecting, the talent with the opportunity, getting the right opportunity and the right talent to come together. I think that's a really important concept. And I like to just talk about that a little bit, because I think a lot of times, as business owners, maybe we've had, maybe even like from your experience, we've had failure in that. Like we've tried to hire in the past, it just hasn't worked out. So we kind of get, disenfranchised with the whole process, and we just give up, or we just get frustrated with the whole thing. And it's like, well, what can you guys do that we don't do? Can you talk a little bit about how you do the matchmaking? Because I think that element is just one of the things that sets you guys apart, that just makes it truly a remarkable business.
Yeah, so what we do is we take a look at the practice style, practice culture, the techniques that the doctor needs to be able to do in the office when talking about matching associates. We also take a look at patient approach. We match candidates on a behavioral standpoint. So let me give you a very simple example. If a practice is looking for a doctor that is able to help them with new patient attraction, new patient conversion, maybe do marketing for them, well, that requires a very special type of person that can do really well in that type of job description. And a lot of times as business owners, we make the mistake of trying to make somebody fit into a job description that really goes against how they're naturally hardwired, and they don't do well. And we get frustrated, they get frustrated, then the relationship goes south pretty quickly. And we either end up firing them or they quit on us because they're frustrated within that position. So you need to make sure that you have a very clear job description. What are the main goals for the position? And then you need to find the person that actually matches on a behavioral standpoint, so that they're not having to force themselves to do something that they're just really not comfortable with. And so our process goes in depth into what are the practice dynamics? What are the goals for this new hire? Are they going to be an associate, for a lifetime? Do they need somebody that can help them grow and expand the business? Or do they need somebody that can help them maintain the adjustments and the patients that they already have in the practice? And so we look at all of those aspects, and then we go find those people that actually fit that innately hardwired type of personality.
So what you're basically saying, if I'm listening to this and I'm, let's say, a CEO and I'm an owner and I'm looking to maybe bring in some talent in the next 3 to 6 months, and you're telling me that you will actually help me understand the type of business and practice that I have, so that I can clearly create and identify the role that I'm looking for, so that then you can help me find that right fit for that role. Because I think a lot of doctors maybe don't know how to even do that. Like, how do I just describe and determine what the role might be that I need? Are you saying that your organization helps us even do that part as well?
Definitely. That is a huge portion of our process. Is first, we want to understand you so that we can help you. And sometimes, like you said, business owners, they're so busy running their practices and they know that they need extra help, but they don't really know where they want to go with this. So a lot of what we do is sit down with that practice owner and really help them understand their goals in practice, even if they have an exit strategy, and what they want this new person to be able to do in their practice. And then we help them find it.
Man, that's amazing. And then obviously from the talent side, thinking about the talent coming in, you talked about how 95% of our problems are people problems. And, we know that I think somewhere in the ballpark of 67% of, associate doctor relationships end badly. In other words, they fail. We want to avoid that. And I know that the track record that Chiro Matchmakers has is significantly higher than that, which is amazing. So you're saying that as a talent coming in, they also have the opportunity to assess and analyze themselves. You're able to assess the talent and say, okay, so I'm clear now on my job description and the role that I have and the functions of that role and what the outcomes are that we want that role to create. Now I can actually also have clarity on, is this person the right fit for that? So it's not just about you getting clear as the owner on what it is that you need. It's also you getting clear on who it is that's coming in and seeing, do they actually fit? And that's a huge part of what you do, correct?
Yeah, 100%. And we also help the talent. We help associate doctors really understand their own practice style, their own goals, what type of practice they want to join. Because a lot of times what happens is, the associate, the talent is looking for a position and they join a practice that maybe is not the best fit for their goals in practice. And then the relationship doesn't work out. So we also do a lot of coaching and mentoring with the talent to help build them up and help them understand, okay, this is the type of practice that I want to join. And then if if we have that practice, then we get them connected.
I mean, so if you're listening to this and you're the owner, I mean, this is just huge. But if you're also considering yourself as, let's say, the talent who's looking to find a right fit, it's amazing. So they, obviously you're going to want to be connected with an organization like CMM. So you're not just trying to, wing it and figure it out on your own. I mean, get connected with an organization that can actually help you find the right fit for yourself. That's huge. I mean, I know that years ago when I was hiring a bunch of associates, and even years and years before that, when I was an associate, none of this even existed. It was just, you just tried to, kind of hope in a prayer that's going to work out, and that was, how a lot of us, I think, walked through it, and it wasn't pretty for many people. So, we talk a lot in this program and the Remarkable CEO podcast here about the limited resources that we have as humans and as leaders, and how, a CEO will leverage their money to buy someone else's time, energy, and focus so they can continue to grow and scale their business and carve out maybe just a little bit more time. So a lot of the owners who are listening to this are very, very busy. Like you said, they're over leveraged. They don't, the time is not on their side. I mean, they're really just trying to just grab a little bit more here and there. And so this is an issue. And so we talk a lot about leverage. So what does it look like as a business owner for myself to leverage an organization such as yours? Like what does that look like for us to do that?
It gives you so much more time freedom. Imagine needing to hire a CA or an associate, and you're having to sort through hundreds of resumes, post your own ads, do your initial rounds of interviews. I mean, the doctor should spend their time doing what they do best, which is being a doctor and not being a recruiter, right? Doctors went to school to be chiropractors. A lot of them are amazing business owners, and they did not go to school to be recruiters. So it is definitely something that needs to be outsourced, something that can be done by somebody else, and you can utilize your time better in other areas that are actually producing you a lot of money. And so, what we do is we take the process completely out of the doctor's hands so that they can focus on what they need to focus. And then once we have people that match all the criteria that they are looking for, then we present them to them. And then it's pretty easy for them to go through the next round of interviews and then choose who they want to hire, instead of the business owner having to do all of the groundwork and the data sifting. I mean, it's a crazy amount of time that it takes to sort through so many candidates.
And I'll speak to the loneliness. Like, it feels very lonely and overwhelming and daunting to just even think about hiring. And a lot of people just say, I don't even want to worry about that. And they just settle for, well, I guess I'll just stay kind of at this stage of my practice. And, right. With Chiro Matchmakers, it seems like, hey, you've got a partner now. You're not alone. Like, we're on your team. You're hiring us. We're actually on your team as a recruiter. And we're not going to send you somebody unless, it fits the criteria that we've determined together. And then that enables me to know, like, hey, I can stay focusing on my current team and my current business and building that, while on the other side, your team is working on finding us the next right fit for the positions that we have available. That's just awesome. That's leverage, folks. You're speaking into our listening, Adriana. You are for sure doing that. And we love, again, that we get to be a part of helping our doctors help more people by using leverage and leveraging Chiro Matchmakers. So last question I have for you, bonus question. How do our listeners get in contact with you? What's the best way to do that?
So our website is www.chiromatchmakers.com. My name is Adriana at chiromatchmakers.com.
Awesome. All right, crew. So another incredible podcast episode and an incredible interview with Adriana from Chiro Matchmakers. You heard it said here. If you're looking to grow your team and build that remarkable team, which, again, to have a remarkable business, you got to have a remarkable team. Chiro Matchmakers is here to help you. Again, we're so grateful for you being a success partner with us and being a part of our podcast and making our podcast more awesome and amazing. For all of you listeners, thank you for joining us this week. And we look forward to picking up with our next episode next week. Until then, God bless.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic. And what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now go and be remarkable.